I've been at UU for about 8 or 9 years. I'm not really sure, but it's long enough to know this is where I belong. I'd like to extend a special welcome to all those who are joining us for the first time. We are very glad you are here. If you've come in person, you should have received a welcome packet with an information card in it. If you fill that out and drop it in the offering basket, we will be in touch to support you in finding our way into our community. If you are joining us online, there's a link on our website to an electronic version of that same card. Our welcoming committee members have yellow name tags and can answer any questions or point you toward additional information. Whether you are new or not, please consider staying for coffee and conversation after the service, either downstairs in our fellowship hall or in our Zoom room. And now, let's say our words of welcome together. Whether this is your first or 1,000th Sunday with us, and whether you strolled, rolled, Zoomed, ran, or danced in, we are glad you chose to join us. We are one people of many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders. All are welcome here. And now we'll take a moment to say hello across the technical divide. First, we're going to show the people joining us on Zoom. If you're at home, please turn on your camera. Now, people at home, wave. And now, people who are attending this service in our building, it's your turn to wave. And we do have a few announcements.
My name is Stan Smith. I've been a member of this fellowship since the early 90s. I sometimes feel like the prodigal son, but I know you haven't killed the fatted calf for me. However, I want to thank Sam Welch and the choir who were gracious enough to help me produce the anthem I wrote, so thank you. I'm here today, and by the way, Joe Palin is running the clock on me. I had a warning from a good friend not to overtalk. I want to initiate today, I have started the Postcard Wars. I have contacted the United Church. They're going to help me. I have help from I have word to the AARP, ACLU, IEA, NEA, and beyond that to help encourage people around the country to send postcards to these representatives that don't represent us and are doing a really poor job. Now, a part of my campaign is to encourage you. We don't need on postcards any more hate. We have enough hate, but we do need to have a clear statement about our obligation as citizens to be educated first, and secondly, to be responsible and to hold these people who represent us in Congress. Downstairs, because I'll be leaving for the United Church not too long from now, I'm going to leave postcards. They have the addresses for all of our senators and our representatives already printed. I'll give you a sample of what I have written, but I encourage you to use your own words because I know you are good people. I'm done. How was my time, Joe Palin? Thank you.
My name is Joel Hamilton. I've been a member of this church since the first Sunday that the Unitarians held a service in this building. There has been a long-running tradition of a plant sale, a plant exchange on Mother's Day Sunday. That's next week. I will have over 100 tomato plants here and a sampling of various other things from my garden. If you have some excess things that you've pricked out, perennials that you're reworking, whatever, bring them along. Sunday after the service. Outside, behind. You can go through, just go beyond the elevator and turn right, and out the back door. Oh, the proceeds, it's for donation, but the proceeds will go to keeping the little free pantry out in front filled up.
Hello, I'm Ginger Yoder, your Director of Faith Formation. And 4 years ago, I started a process of credentialing with the UUA, which is basically like a postgraduate degree, a PhD in religious education through the UUA. And yesterday, I defended my dissertation, and I passed. I don't know if that means anything other than now I have some extra letters after my name, which I love. And but yay, I'm done, and I am. So you officially have a credentialed religious educator serving your church. Yay!
Here end the announcements. And now our territorial acknowledgement. The land on which our church is built is part of the ancestral homeland of the Nimipu, the people, and the Paiutsamam, people located at the village where the rock is standing up in the river. It was frequented by the Shishus, the ones found here, located to the north, and called the Coeur d'Alene by the French-speaking traders. We acknowledge the land is held in sacred kinship since time immemorial, and that the land and its peoples suffered immeasurable trauma brought by Indo-European society. We seek to work with indigenous communities to show respect and contribute to the healing and nurturing of this precious land and all its peoples. We're hoping that folks joining us via Zoom have a chalice or a candle to light and something to light it with. Let's light our chalices together. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share. Now our song affirmation.
I offer you these opening words today by Andrew Pakula called We Arrive Here Together. We arrive together here, travelers on life's journey, seekers of meaning, of love, of healing, of justice, of truth. The journey is long, and joy and woe accompany us at every step. None is born that does not die. None feels pleasure that does not also feel pain. The tear has not yet dried on the cheek, but the lips curve sweetly in a smile. Numerous are our origins, our paths, and our destinations, and yet happily, our ways have joined together here today. Spirit of life, source of love, may our joining be a blessing. May it bring comfort to those who are in pain. May it bring hope to those who despair. May it bring peace to those who tremble in fear. May it bring wisdom and guidance for our journeys. And though this joining may be for just a moment in time, the moment is all we can ever be certain of. May we embrace this and every instance of our lives. Now please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn. Wake now, my senses, the Star Wars version.
It's 298 for everybody that wants to follow the music, but the lyrics will be different.
Oh, and I'm
Closer to the lectern, please. Thank you.
okay. I'm here to make an announcement of a month from our Month Sundays program. You know that we give our offering to a local community or good cause. And this month, our recipient was Inland Oasis, particularly their mission in building up the Backyard Harvest program again in Moscow. So I think there's some people here from, yes. The other thing, Inland Oasis also runs the West Side Pantry, which is a food bank. So come on up. Oh, look at all these people. This is great. Okay, so I'll just tell you that we were able to collect $3,053.36 for them.
Wow, thank you.
And I just, this makes me happy in a lot of ways because for years we've done the program with the weekend food for children, for kids, and in the summers in Moscow, and we've partnered with Backyard Harvest to provide fresh fruit from Moscow, Idaho, and this area to give kids in the summer and not have to buy bananas or something like that that's out of season and doesn't live here. So I'm really excited that they're building this program up again. So you have, the Oasis, we have the food bank, and we have Backyard Harvest, and these are the people who bring it to you. So, and I have one more thing, and this seems kind of silly, but I was in the food bank, and there was somebody there shopping, and they were looking for a shopping bag. So I have a lot of shopping bags. Oh, this is wonderful. So come and tell us a little bit about
for supporting our cause. The pantry feeds over 2,000 people every single month. We give out close to 12,000 pounds of food every month. That is about, thank you, that is about the same weight as an adult African elephant. We are giving out an elephant to feed our neighbors every single month. And we're looking forward to getting Backyard Harvest back up and running so that we can provide food with very little cost to us, to our neighbors, and also keeping our neighbors' pantries and gardens and trees healthy by gleaning everything off so it isn't left there to go to waste. Anybody who is interested in ever being part of our programs, please reach out. We're always looking for kind-hearted souls like you to help us. Thank you.
Now let's take a moment to engage in the practice of generosity together. For those of you able to make a financial contribution, the logistics are on your screen. We typically give away all the cash from our Sunday offering to local charities whose missions align with our values. A program called the Month of Sundays. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month our donations will go to the Leta Alliance for Mental Illness and the Palouse Advocates for Mental Illness. To donate, please indicate Month of Sundays on your check or from the online drop-down menu. In the spirit of love and for the continuing work of this church, we will now take some time to practice generosity together.
This time I'll stand close enough. Our reading today is a series of quotes from the Star Wars universe. The First Order wins by making people think they are alone. Good people will fight if we lead them. Poe Dameron, The Rise of Skywalker. We had each other. That's how we won. Lando Calrissian, The Rise of Skywalker. That's how we're going to win. Not fighting what we hate, saving what we love. Rose, The Last Jedi. Rebellions are built on hope. Jyn Erso, Rogue One. And the final, this message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force. Do not return to the temple. That time has passed and our future is uncertain. We will each be challenged, our trust, our faith, our friendship, but we must persevere, and in time, a new hope will emerge. May the Force be with you always. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars Rebels. Good morning, friends. I am so honored to be here with you on this holiest of Sundays, Star Wars Day. For those of you who may not be aware, it is May the 4th, so may the 4th be with you. And that's why all the Star Wars stuff is happening today. And I saw a meme not too long ago that perfectly summed up how I've been feeling lately and fits with our theme today. It starts with saying, me in history class. Wow, humanity has been through some fascinating times. I wonder if I'll ever live through major historical events. And N saying, me now. No, I want to get off this ride. It was supposed to be space travel. And to be clear, the kind of space travel was supposed to be more in line with Star Trek than Star Wars, but here we are, in a galaxy far, far away from where we thought we would be, resisting fascism and the Empire. Friends, we are living through some scary times that will no doubt be written about in history books for future generations to reflect back on and call fascinating. None of us signed up for this. We didn't hope to live through a resurgence of fascism across the globe. We didn't wish that our country would attack the very humanity of two-spirit, trans, and gender-expansive folks, or that we would threaten a person's ability to choose to have children or not. We didn't long for the very erosion of our, or the erosion of our democracy, or the right to seek asylum. And we're living on a precipice right now. Although we may not have chosen this, we are living in fascinating, churning, important times. And in these times, we have to ask ourselves, who do we want to be? How can we live our values to the fullest? And what side of history do we want to be on? The next 4 years and beyond are going to be tough. Even before the election results were known and the inauguration of the current administration, we knew that we had our work cut out for us as justice-loving people of faith. We knew that fascism was rising and that people were being harmed by systems of oppression. We knew that it wasn't the politicians who were going to save us. Only we can save us. But how do we do that, you might be thinking? It's actually the same as it's always been, by living our values and being fully, joyfully human with each other, no matter what. In other words, the work we must do to save us is accompaniment, the kind of accompaniment that inherently resists oppression and fascism. You see, fascism and systems of oppression want to convince us that we're all alone, that there's such a thing as the other, and that others are scary. Fascism seeks to separate us and demoralize us, so the only antidote to it is to come together. Accompaniment is the radical act of being with someone facing oppression, even when, and maybe especially when, you don't know how it's going to turn out. To commit to being with them through the fear and the pain and the loss and the joy and the fun. It's a way of showing each other in the world that we are all in this together. What happens to one of us happens to all of us. Accompaniment can mean taking risks that you otherwise wouldn't have to face in order to make sure that people have what they need, like gender-affirming care, access to abortion medications, or the ability not to be deported to an unsafe space. And although it seems like that risk is for someone else, it's actually a risk you're taking for yourself, for your soul, and for the world we all want to live in. We, as UUs, have been accompanying those most affected by systems of oppression for a very long time. During World War II, the Unitarian Service Committee sent people to Europe to help dissidents escape the Nazis. One of them was the Reverend Dr. Charles Rind Joy, and he saw no worries. Is that, now we can hear again? Cool. It was a ghost. One of the little critters from Star Wars got in the pipes. One of them was the Reverend Dr. Charles Rind Joy, and he saw that many of the refugees coming into Portugal didn't have the documents necessary to cross borders. So he decided to start forging travel documents for them so they could escape. To make the paperwork look as official as other documents, they needed a seal. So he commissioned an artist and refugee, Hans Deutsch, to create one. And the seal he created included the flaming chalice, which later became the very symbol of our faith. So the very symbol of our faith, the chalice, was founded in our resistance to fascism and our commitment to liberation for all. And we've been seeing a rise in fascism across our country for a few years now. And of course, now our federal government is fully weaponized against those most oppressed as well. So what will our accompaniment look like in today's crisis? What will be the risks that we take to live our values? How does the chalice call us to respond in these times? Right now, UUSC is deeply involved in two types of accompaniment. One, through our CAPAS program, which stands for Community Accompaniment Program with Asylum Seekers, and the other through the Pink Haven Coalition for Trans Liberation, Both programs are radical ways of living our UU values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Working for justice means we covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. Our migrant and trans beloveds are at the forefront of this struggle. By accompanying them in these scary times, we're making the world a more just place, even when our government and our systems are deeply unjust. Working for equity means we use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Working for transformation, it means being open to change and understanding that we will never be complete and we will never be perfect. When you accompany someone, you will be changed radically, and you will become very aware that perfect was never an option. Working for pluralism means we covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Accompaniment often means seeing someone who's very different from you as family, to learn from them and welcome them, even as you know that they will change you and your community, because you know that the beloved community is diverse and beautiful. Working for interdependence means creating and nurturing sustainable relationships with the earth and all people full of care, respect, mutuality, and justice. We know that none of us are free until all of us are free. So we resist fascism and oppression even when they are not pointed directly at us, because we are all bound up together. Working for generosity means cultivating a spirit of gratitude and hope, even in hard times. Fascism and oppression want us to stay in scarcity mindset, but the reality is we have everything we need to care for ourselves and each other. This is the time more than any other to lean into generosity, to give what you can of your resources, your time, and your activism. As the newest iteration of our values, values that we've held dear for generations, that continue to evolve and grow through our living tradition, they also ground us in the truth that at the center of all we do, of all those values, of all our actions, we must put love. And that is what accompaniment is, radical love that can and will change this world for the better. As we as a faith approved that new version of our values at General Assembly 2024, we also passed the most radical, welcoming, and loving business resolution, which is such a weird thing to say, that I've ever seen any faith approve. We stated unequivocally that embracing transgender, non-binary, intersex, and gender-diverse people is fundamental to our expression of UU religious values. This groundbreaking resolution calls us into action, which can include condemning and resisting all anti-trans legislation, partnering with local and state organizations led by trans, non-binary, and intersex people, amplifying campaigns for bodily autonomy, and supporting organizations like the Pink Haven Coalition. The coalition is led by trans organizers who saw what was happening in our country and decided to take action to save their community. We're in an interfaith coalition with Quakers, Jews, Mennonites, the United Church of Christ, and more. We're exploring partnerships with mutual aid networks, anarchists, roller derby girls, and anyone else who's saying, no, I won't let this happen, not on my watch. We're working together to create networks of safety and direct support for trans beloveds and their families who need to relocate, access health care across state lines, or stay as safe as possible where they are. Acting in coalition for trans liberation is a direct antidote to the rising fascism we see not only in the United States, but throughout the world. Whenever we resist fascism and injustice, we weaken them everywhere. Know that as you support our trans and gender expansive beloveds, migrants, the unhoused, any directly oppressed people, to not just survive but thrive, you're also supporting all the others that are targeted by fascism, and you're helping to heal the world from the sin of dehumanization and oppression. As Rose in The Last Jedi says, we don't win just by fighting what we hate. We win by saving what we love. Whether you accompany trans folks, unhoused people, migrants, activists being criminalized, or any other targeted group, you are saving the world we all love. You aren't just fighting against the empire, you are fighting for the beloved community. And one important skill that we can all use in these scary times as we accompany those most affected by systems of oppression and resist the powers that be is keeping the vision of the world we want front and center so we can move towards it with love, even as things get hard. So we can continue to fight for what we love rather than just fight against what we hate. So I invite you into a very brief visioning practice as I close out my message. I ask that you settle your body into a comfortable position. Maybe that means grounding your feet to the floor like the roots of a great oak tree. Maybe that means relaxing your head and letting your chin dip down a bit so your head is closer to your heart. Maybe that means swaying back and forth as if being blown in the wind. Maybe it's something completely different. If you're comfortable doing so, please close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in. And as you release the breath, notice your muscles. Are they clenched from worry? Notice your nervous system. Is it activated because of all that's going on in the world? Take another deep breath in. And as you release the breath, try to unclench those muscles. Try to relax, even just a little bit. Keep breathing. Now, in this hopefully more relaxed state, imagine we have made it. We are in the beloved community where there's no war and no poverty, no borders and no prisons. We have defeated the empire. The resistance movement has prevailed. Justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity are rampant, and love and joy have suffused the world. Bring yourself into that future time when we have arrived and we are together in the beloved community. Notice which of your senses are being activated. They may be different for each of us. Does a picture or a scene come to mind? Do you hear something? Maybe a smell attached to a memory or a taste. Maybe it's almost as if you feel something. Who's there with you? What are we doing together? Take another deep breath in as you continue to notice what the beloved community looks like for you, feels like for you. Slowly breathe out. And as I slowly call you back to the present after a way too brief time in that beautiful space, take a moment to notice how your time in the beloved community made you feel. Did something stick with you, in particular, a sound, an image, something you can use as a touchstone when things get hard to bring you back there? When I imagine the beloved community, what I experience is a true community meal. Food plays a large part in my life. I love to feed people, I love to try new foods, and I love to connect with people over meals. And this is a general trait in my family. We often return from vacations and spend the first hour of describing said vacation just talking about the food we ate. And as I'm brought back to that place, that meal, I know that the food we're sharing tastes like the joy of knowing no one is hungry. That the laughter I hear sounds like true liberation, a type of laughter that can only be heard when no one is behind bars. And that the people I'm with feel like home because I know everyone else in the world has shelter. Just talking about it now fills me with a sense of peace. I miss that world, even though I've never physically been able to be there. I've seen glimpses. My colleague and friend Angela Kelly taught me that practice, and it's had a profound impact, not just on my mental health and my ability to stay in this work for the long haul, but also on how I do the work right now. I'm sure you know as well as I do that it's a lot easier being the person you want to be in this world when you're filled up with peace and possibility rather than frustration and fear. This is another lesson that we're given throughout the Star Wars stories. We see the Jedi being warned not to give in to the fear and hatred. As we resist, we must stay true to our values. Because if we strike the current system down with hatred, we won't create the world we love and long for. We'll just create another system to be struggled against later. And when I'm struggling with all the injustices in the world and feeling overwhelmed and like I have to respond to all of them or feeling like nothing I do can ever make a real difference, I go back to that place, that true community meal. I let it wash over me and I ask myself, what will get me closer to that world? How am I different when I'm in that place, and how can I start living that way in the here and now? What is my work to do, the work that combines my passions and my skills that get us closer to the beloved community? And my answer is sacred solidarity through accompaniment and resistance, and I hope you join me in whatever way you feel called. I know many of you already are. Whether it is through one of UUSC's accompaniment programs or the many ways that you are accompanying the people here in Moscow, Idaho, and beyond. We are all in this together. Amen. Ashe. Let it be so. And may the force be with us. Now please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn. And I believe it's Welcome Table, number 407. Okay, made sure I was right.
With the normal words.
Not a Star Wars version. And our closing reading today is called Fitted for This Day, written by the Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We're not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We're not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we've been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones that we have been waiting for.
Please join me in the words to extinguish our chalice. That it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light our paths as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again.